Good morning, Carla. We're off with a bang this morning.
Yes, we
It has
are.
been that kind of Friday morning, hasn't
It is, yes. Happy
Yeah.
Friday. It's November 30th, 2018, so it's the last day of November.
It is.
Tomorrow
it
is December 1st.
Already?
Yes, we're off to the holiday season already. It's a longer holiday season because Thanksgiving started,
is.
was earlier this year.
And Hanukkah starts like at the beginning of the Christmas season this year.
Yes, yes.
So
December 2nd, thank
it
you.
is. It is.
Yes.
Sunday night is the first
It's the
night
first
of
night.
Hanukkah.
Right, so it's terrific
it's a
time
whole
of the year.
season of holidays.
Yes. So, but yes, it's very exciting, and I hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving.
I did.
Yes,
I
I
did.
did
It was
too.
quiet.
Quiet's
Yours?
good. Yes, good time to be thankful and reflect and
It
be with
was.
family. My oldest daughter, who lives in California, was visiting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that was nice to have time with all my girls. So.
You had all three of them together?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So.
Yeah, I didn't have much. My family's all spread out. My daughter's not coming home till Christmas, so
Okay.
it was.
Well, Christmas will
it's
be
quiet.
lovely.
It will be. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So.
So today I looked at my phone app just to get a feel for the weather, and it said snow. So I'm looking at my phone app, but then I'm looking outside, I don't see snow. So this is where you have to use your head, right?
It said snow for here.
It said on my phone, it was snowing on my
showing
phone.
snowflakes.
So
Oh.
anyway, so we'll tell you the true weather. Because I was like looking, I'm like, you really have to think. So anyway,
Yes.
today is Friday. It is right now, there's just almost been a little bit of a precipitation earlier, but again, the high of 42, low of 32, showing some clouds. So it is a gray day, but it's not too grim because it's not like that cold,
It isn't. No.
but you
not
do
at
need your
all.
gloves. Tomorrow, Saturday, a high of 44, a low of 42. We've got some precipitation. Thankfully, not snow. Not that we don't like snow, but
If it doesn't lay on the roads
Yes,
or
it can be-
interfere our getting around.
right, it can be
it's-
snow globe snow, which I
Right.
like, which
Oh,
is
snow
pretty.
globe snow.
I like snow globe snow.
I never
and then,
thought of that.
Oh gosh, looking at Sunday, high of 60 and a low of 50 with thunder.
It's crazy weather.
Crazy weather. So, so that's my piece. That's my weather report.
So since the weather is a little bit it's not sunshiny and beautiful outside, you might be inside. So with that in mind, there are plenty of activities to keep you entertained, right?
Oh, good.
So you don't have to sit in front of the television. You could pick up a good book from the library, but you could rent a movie this afternoon at 1 o'clock here in Town Square in the music classroom. You can rent a DVD for 25 cents for a whole week.
That is a bargain.
It is.
And a lot of us still have DVD players, me included.
Yes.
So
You might even have a VCR.
I think I might.
Yeah, I do, but I don't have any VCR tapes anymore. So rent a DVD if you want to stay in your apartment. If not, this afternoon, come to dinner at 4:30 in the Town Square Princeton living room and hear Charlie Clark on the piano. Charlie's a great entertainer, providing lots of music to get you into the dinner hour this afternoon at 4:30. And then after dinner tonight at 7 o'clock, in the Town Square Auditorium, the 20th Anniversary Film Festival. We're at the end of the 20th anniversary month, I guess, so we have a
Right.
film festival. Mrs. Dalloway, a movie from 1998. Clarissa Dalloway, who is Vanessa Redgrave, reflects on the events that have shaped her life. A young Clarissa, Natasha McKellen, makes her choice between two men, the steadfast Richard Dalloway, played by John Standing, and the sparkling Peter Walsh, played by Michael Kitchen. Rated PG-13, not shown with closed captioning, and of course transportation provided.
So they already spoiled that for us because we know what choice she makes.
The sparkling Peter Walsh.
Right. But it's
We
the
don't.
journey.
Do you know that? It's Vanessa Redgrave. So
I know,
Vanessa
so
is a
it's the
woman
journey.
with her own mind.
I
But
know. It'll be interesting to hear.
yes, I'm not
Yes.
familiar with that movie.
Yes.
All right. So that gets us to Saturday, December 1st already. You can shop up in the Treasure Shop tomorrow at noontime, the 5th floor of Arbor Court. Stop by for some bargains. Proceeds go to the Resident Care Fund. Everyone is welcome tomorrow at noon.
And that's always great because the inventory is changing all
It
the
does,
time.
constantly.
So just because you've been there once doesn't mean you can't go back.
Right, you may find some Hanukkah or Christmas decorations. You might find a gift, Secret
Right.
Santa.
Mhm.
So stop by tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
7 o'clock tomorrow night in the Town Square Auditorium is the Saturday night movie. Boy, we switch it up from Vanessa Redgrave to Justice League from 2017, Batman and Wonder Woman, working quickly to find a recruit a team of metahumans. I think they live at Seabrook. Despite the formation of this unprecedented league of heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash, that is quite a group, it may already be too late to save the planet. Starring Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller. Rated PG-13, shown with closed captioning. That's an exciting Saturday night movie.
I know, and I still haven't seen Wonder Woman, the movie.
Oh, you haven't?
I
Well,
have
I haven't
not.
either, so what am I
I
saying?
heard it was good, but when I was growing up, I read her comics like voraciously.
Did you really?
And I haven't seen the movie, so there you go.
Put that on your list.
I will. Thank you.
Okay, and that gets us to Sunday, December the 2nd. After you've been to brunch on Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Town Square Auditorium, the Sunday matinee. Oh, this is really quite a variety of movies.
Yes.
Won't You Be My Neighbor?
I heard this was awesome.
2018, the story of Mr. Rogers, an exploration of the life of the iconic children's TV host, Mr. Rogers, rated PG-13, shown with closed captioning, of course, transportation provided. There was a wonderful documentary the other night on PBS with Michael Keaton
Oh,
that went through the whole, and all these, like Itzhak Perlman, people who had, in their early careers, had been on his show. It was just
and the impact.
and the impact they had.
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh, wow.
who would have thought was one of his, and later on in his career, she was on. So fascinating man. I grew up with him and his cardigans and
Me too.
yeah,
Put
and
the
the
shoes
trolley
on.
and
Won't you be my neighbor?
right,
Yes.
exactly. So that's a wonderful film, documentary, movie, Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Sunday evening, the first night of Hanukkah, so our Jewish community has a dinner, which is by reservation only. But just to note, 3:30 in the gardens, in the lobby, is the candle lighting.
Okay.
So that's open to the public, 3:30 Sunday afternoon. And then at 6 o'clock, there'll be a candle lighting here in the Princeton dining room. There's a dinner preceding that was by reservation only, but there's a community candle lighting, 6 o'clock. Reb Abby will be leading that. Welcome to everyone in the community here in the Princeton dining room as we kick off the holidays with the Hanukkah celebration here. So once you've gone to the Hanukkah lighting, then you can come downstairs to it's a movie weekend, to the auditorium to see the Sunday night musical, another classic, The Unsinkable Molly Brown. 1964, after surviving a flood as an infant, 16 years earlier, the buoyant Molly Brown, played by Debbie Reynolds, sets out to find her way in life, co-starring Harve Presnell, not rated, shown with closed captioning. Visited the Brown Palace in Denver, which was the home of Molly Brown,
Oh.
which is kind of an interesting. They have a little museum to her. I mean, there
Wow.
is a real life character who was the unsinkable.
And
Molly
I didn't
Brown.
realize it was unsinkable because she survived a drowning. I mean, a flooding.
I
right?
thought,
Yeah.
as an infant.
Surviving a flood
and
as an infant.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I thought she also had something with Titanic, but that's in my head, not in reality. So that's a
That's
busy
the goings-on
weekend.
at
Yeah,
campus.
so if you're inside this weekend, there's something to do besides watch.
There's always lots to
TV.
do here.
There is.
So today, I'm so excited. We have a special guest here, a very dear friend of mine, who's able to make it to Seabrook Village and to share her contributions and information about some community events in Monmouth County. Gilda Rogers, she's the vice president of the T. Thomas Fortune Cultural Foundation and is helping to spearhead the growth and opening of the T. Thomas Cultural Center in Red Bank. So welcome, Gilda.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, you're such a dear friend. I've known each other for quite a while, and I'm happy to follow your lead, and I've been helping, with this effort. So I thought it would be great to just let the community know what's going on in Red Bank and what's been going on.
Thank you so much for inviting me to share this. Really, It's a, it's a great story, I think. And so it's a privilege to be here to share it with everyone that is here at Seabrook. So
Okay.
thank you.
All right, so we'll just start with some general questions, then I know we'll just jump off because that's what we can talk for hours. But just let's start with who was T. Thomas Fortune?
Okay.
Yes.
T. Thomas Fortune was born into slavery in 1856 in Marianna, Florida. He rose to prominence as a journalist, but prior to that, during Reconstruction, his father was elected to the Florida Assembly. And at 13 years old, T. Thomas Fortune worked as a Senate page. So he actually got to hear the nefarious workings of politicians in regard to African American people. Him being a former, born into slavery and a former slave, his grandfather was white, so T. Thomas Fortune, could have basically passed for a white man, but he identified himself as an African American man and fought tirelessly for the rest of his life for, the uplift of the African American community. But he came to prominence after leaving Florida. He went to Howard University in Washington, D.C. And his intention was to become a lawyer because he understood that we're a country of laws. And that would be the way that he would be able to make his contribution to help his people, is to fight for the equality that these laws was to guarantee citizens. But he steered off into another direction and became a journalist. And I really think journalism, well, that was where he needed to be because he did a lot through that medium, and that was the social media of that time, newspapers.
Right.
And he would go on to publish and edit 3 newspapers, and the last one being the New York Age, which was very prominent and was internationally known, as well as here, and has been said to have rivaled the New York Times. And he was just a very intellectual, well-read, great thinker that believed in equality and justice for all people.
Right. So tell us about his connection with Red Bank.
Okay.
I know, we have just bounce all around.
Okay.
It's so exciting though.
Yeah, so he was living in Brooklyn, he and his wife, for like 24 years. And then, amongst his peers and friends, he was looking for a home in the country. And his friend said, why don't you come to Red Bank, all right? So his family moved here to Red Bank in 1901. To the house that is now located at 94 Dr. James Parker Boulevard. And they resided there until approximately 1912. They were very immersed in the Red Bank community. And his wife, Carrie Fortune, has been credited with actually founding the St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Red Bank, which is still very much a part of the faith-based community in Red Bank. And they, he was very political, Fortune, so they had a lot of parties and things that took place at the house. He belonged to many organizations. He actually was one of the founding members of the National Afro-American League, which he founded in 1890, all right? It actually was the precursor to the Niagara movement, which then becomes the NAACP. So he was the founder of one of the first successful Black political organizations. So so he lived here. His son actually graduated from Red Bank High School in 1910.
I didn't know that.
Yes, his son Frederick Fortune graduated from high school there, where the middle school in Red Bank used to be the high school. And that's the school where Frederick Fortune graduated from. Yes.
So what I understand is the house, which is currently located near lunch break, maybe
Right.
that can help people just anchor that in their mind a little bit. But what I understand, it was in danger of being, well, was it identified as a national landmark and then in danger of being demolished? Yeah.
Yes, in 1976, so the Fortune family lived there until probably about 1912. After that, the home was owned by the Vaccarelli family, who owned the home for just about 100 years up until probably, I think, up until 2013, 15, something like that. They owned the home and had a thriving bakery there. But in 1976, the country's bicentennial, the home was designated a National Historic Landmark. And that's the highest degree of historical preservation, you can have. So this was, how many? We only have two. We only have two National Historic Landmarks in the state of New Jersey that's devoted to African American culture. All right. So one, T. Thomas Fortune House, and the second one is Hinchliff Stadium up in Patterson, where the old Negro League used to play.
Okay.
So this was a national treasure, because of his contributions to America. He wrote several books. He was the ghostwriter for Booker T. Washington. He gave W.E.B. Du Bois his first writing job. When Du Bois was 15 years old, Fortune gave him a job as a correspondent with his first newspaper.
He was such a significant figure that we don't know about.
I've never heard of him
And
before.
so I just love I love what's going on with this. I love the attention and, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
that. Yeah.
I always say he's the most,
What an
he's the
impact.
most famous
What an influence.
person you never heard of.
Right. That's true. Right. So fortunately, what happened was, Gilda, it was going to be demolished.
Well,
right?
okay, yes. So in 2006 was the last time the Vaccarelli family lived in the house, or someone from their family
So there's the house.
lived in the house. All right. So after that, the house just sat there dormant, and eventually just became very deteriorated, dilapidated, basically an eyesore in the community. And then the family actually applied for a demolition permit through the borough of Red Bank. And I'm a journalist by vocation. That's who I am. And T. Thomas Fortune was a journalist. So it was like, and this is a National Historic Landmark, a very important piece of real estate to Americans, but particularly African Americans, who, deserve that kind of recognition.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really spearheaded the efforts to just call attention to the importance of T. Thomas and the landmark. And as a result now, a foundation has been developed. The house has been remodeled. We have a foundation has been developed. We have a cultural center that's going to be opening next year.
Yes, it's very exciting. This story is so inspiring that it tells me it was just meant to be, because, like I said, the home was going to be demolished. I stepped in first. It was Ed Zippert, who's our councilman in Red Bank. He was the one who brought me into this arena, this Fortune arena, because he and George Bowden, who had been the chairperson of the Red Bank Historical Preservation Commission, identified the house as one of the 10 endangered historic sites in the state, and it was in the Star-Ledger newspaper. And that's when I got involved in it, and then said, we have to work to do everything we can to save this, and just started organizing community people who had an interest.
Real grassroots effort.
It's just totally grassroots, and we just started meeting, coming up with strategy, not so much to save the house, although that was the mission, but just to get people to know who T. Thomas Fortune was,
Right.
why it was important for the house to be saved. So we had to really go out into the community and, you know, bring that kind of education to the community so that they could learn the importance of T. Thomas Fortune. And I would always get that, how is that we never heard of this guy? And so then we got the community to buy into, like, this
This is right.
this we need to have this. And so then we just kept fighting, to hoping that a savior would show up that would help us
Right.
save
we
this
did need
house.
some financing, so there was like
to save this house, because we obviously didn't have any money. You know, we were just trying to bring attention to the matter with the hopes that something magical
right. And
would
so,
happen.
So we did, yeah.
And,
so
and it did. First, it was the state was going to step into the arena. That didn't work out. And then one day I got a phone call from a gentleman named Roger Mumford, and of Roger Mumford Homes, who's a builder and developer. He asked to meet with me. I met with him at his office. Didn't know him, never heard his name, never seen him before. And so when I get there, you know, we started talking, introduced ourselves. He shared a book with me that he loved called The Warmth of Other Suns, which was about the great migration of African Americans from the South that spread throughout the country to all our major cities, and how he enjoyed this book. And then he started to talk about Fortune, how he was reading up about Fortune, because we had lawn signs put around town,
Well, you
bright
started
yellow
the-
lawn
you
signs
started
that
the spark, and I think he took it.
T.
Right.
Thomas Fortune House,
Right.
and he saw the signs, read up on who Fortune was, found out about us, invited me over to meet with him, and said, you know, I think I might have a solution to your problem.
And that's pretty amazing. That's like a
That
real
is.
fairy tale story.
It is.
So,
And
so
when he
now,
said, what if I purchase the property and then restore the house and then deed it back to your organization for, you know, $1? And I was like, are you for are you for real?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like too good to be true. But you know, he was feeling a certain kind of way, because all of this is transpiring during the time when a lot of African American men were just being shot down, unarmed men, from Eric Garner to, you know, well, Trayvon Martin had happened to Tamir Rice, the little boy,
Right.
you know, in, I think, Cleveland. So Roger was feeling a certain kind of way about what he was hearing, and he wanted to find something, he wanted to give back. What could he do to, you know, play a part in, you know, bringing all people together?
And like a restoration and a new direction, and you know, just shining light on someone who was so important and hidden, and made such contributions.
Because that's what he was fighting for, was
Right.
for us to all come together and live together in this nation in harmony. Was Fortune, because Fortune fought for all people.
Right.
It wasn't just African Americans, but he was a very, very, very supportive of the suffragette movement.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
Yeah, he was
He's
very,
got some,
yeah,
some
he-
great,
it's-
great quotes.
Yeah, yes.
So tell me about the cultural center. Like, what's the
Okay, so-
timeline for that?
So, you know, we wanted it to be a cultural center, not a period piece
Not like a
house,
museum.
historic
Not a museum.
museum.
Yeah.
That's not.
We got some dynamic
No,
Right.
energy.
we wanted
yeah.
some energy and good programming, and you know, a lot of people coming in and out, and us in the community. So we're hoping. We're working tirelessly now, like little elves, trying to get it all together. You know, it's beautiful. If you've been by there, I would tell people, come by 94 Dr. James Parker Boulevard, ride down the street, you'll see it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous facility, and we're hoping to have it open for what we're calling a soft opening for our donors in February.
And that coincides with African American. Right?
African American and Black History Month.
Right.
And then we're planning a big grand opening for May.
May. Now, I know you've already done some teacher trainings,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the things you'll be doing. So teacher trainings, I know we have something called the Fortune Tellers. So we've already had one, we're on our second Fortune Teller this year. So it's a Red Bank High School student who is involved in with helping with the foundation.
With the
as well.
foundation. The whole premise to the whole Fortune Teller program is to galvanize young people to be more civically engaged. And I think that this is a perfect venue to bring them into, to learn history and culture outside of the classroom in a very tangible, hands-on way, and to be able to be ambassadors at the house.
Right.
And to know the history of the house, to be able to bring people through the house through guided tours that they would actually do themselves. And, you know, we would train them, you know, in being civically engaged,
Right.
you know, understanding how important it is to give back and to know your history and to celebrate it.
Right.
You know, it's going to be a cross section. What we're going to be doing in the house as far as programming, it's a cross section of art, history, and social justice awareness, all coming together. And through all that we do, we did a teacher's training, like you said, this summer in conjunction with Two River Theater, where we invited teachers to come, and they came to Two River Theater, and we educated them on Fortune and his contributions and who he was, you know, and then the theater educated teachers on August Wilson, one of the greatest African American playwrights to have ever lived, and just to be able to, you know, give them more information and tools for them to have in their arsenal of Black culture and history to go back and share with their students. So then we took the teachers over to the house, and it was very much under construction,
Yeah.
you know. So they got to see the bones of it. They
Right.
were inside and, you know, got to see the bones of the house. The outside looked but inside was
Still some work.
still rugged.
Yeah.
You know, still a lot of work needed to be done. So I'm looking forward to us doing another teachers training, summer teachers training this year. And we're doing it in compliance with the Amistad Commission, which is under the umbrella of the Department of Education in New Jersey, which says all public schools must teach African American history and culture, you know, in their social studies classes, literature, and things like that. And so they do a teacher's training every year. They do one in North Jersey and they do one in South Jersey, but nothing had ever been done in our area. And I also teach too, so I teach at Brookdale.
Right.
So it was important to me that this was something that we were able to offer our teachers. It was free of charge for them to come in, and we had a waiting list. So hopefully this year, this coming summer, 2019, we'll be able to open it to more teachers. Last year was a pilot effort.
There's so much to say, and I know we're running out of time, so I guess I'm going to ask you two more questions. One, I'm going to want you to end with your favorite T. Thomas Fortune quote.
When you said that, I thought, I want to hear a quote from you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I also just want to, can anyone get involved? That's another thing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking for people to get involved. Anybody out there in the sound of my voice, we need volunteers. We need volunteers, and we meet every second Monday of the month at Pilgrim Baptist Church, right in Red Bank at 172 Shrewsbury Avenue at 6:30. So every second Monday of the month. Did I say Monday or did I say Tuesday?
You said Monday.
Okay, so every second Monday.
Right.
Because I'm meeting everywhere, somewhere, usually every
No,
night.
but
I'm trying to keep
so
it straight.
And anyone, and even if you can't make those, like you can always connect with me if you have something you want to share. I mean, I'd be happy to pass it along because I am part of this.
Yes, I'm
effort.
so, and I'm just want to thank you for taking me up on my offer and becoming a part of us, because your service to the organization is invaluable,
Yeah,
you
well-
know, and people are very committed to it. Everybody that's been working there, we've all been in this together for a long time, so it's like,
It's exciting.
it is, it's very,
really-
it's
it's
very
really
exciting
engaging,
to
exciting.
see, you know, and the community is getting excited
Yeah,
about
just
it.
that being a part of the community too. So yeah, so Leah, let us know your favorite T. Thomas Fortune quote.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Okay.
I had a couple of favorite quotes, but now this one has come to the top. It was a quote that was made by Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of an independent Ghana. And this quote had always been attributed to him. And I love the quote, all right? Now, like I said, T. Thomas Fortune was born in 1856. Kwame Nkrumah wasn't born until 1909. So I'm reading Fortune's book, because Fortune has a book called Black and White, Land, Labor, and Politics in the South. And I get to a page and it says, progress is made, forward ever, backward never. And I'm like, oh my God, Fortune said this, not Kwame Nkrumah.
That's
You
a
know,
great quote.
no,
just to be
Yes, and Kwame Nkrumah has been credited with this quote. When in actuality, I read it there. Fortune, forward, progress is made, forward ever, backward never.
Wow.
So I think that's a powerful quote.
Very.
I think it speaks to how we need to proceed as a nation, you know, forward ever, backward never, you know, and that's how we make progress, moving forward.
Well, thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Lots
you.
of energy and
Yeah,
excitement.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Gilda.
you for having me. Yes.
welcome.
Certainly. Yeah.
So here we are.
That sets us off there. Does that change the tone of your Friday now?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good.
Good.
I was feeling good, but now I'm feeling gooder.
Good.
I love
Gooder.
that.
It's always
Gooder.
better to be gooder.
Gooder.
All right.
Okay.
So happy Friday,
Yes.
the last day of November.
Exactly. So tune in on Monday as our catering manager, Maureen Marchini, discusses the upcoming Breakfast with Santa and all the holiday catering specials and offerings. So
All righty.
we see you again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.